Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 4, Episode 24, where we watch Prank Encounters, Season 1, Episode 1 and 2. I'm Chris Lorenz.
Robert Kitts.
Noah Singer.
Max Levin, that kid from Maxer Things.
Oh man. Noah, you got the show description for us?
I do. It's quite short, but I got one. Monstrous fright meet funny reveals as real people land in their own horror movie, and Gaten Matarazzo hosts the hidden camera show. Prank Encounters on Netflix.
Thank you, Noah. This is an odd one, guys. We haven't done too many shows like this, but essentially they set up some sort of weird, very elaborate horror scenario, and they reveal this is a giant hoax, and then laugh about it. That's the show.
That's the show.
That's the show.
It's a very basic prank reality show.
like, it does nothing new.
But it's a horror version, right? Like, is there a horror version of the show before?
Yes. I think there was one on, like, Sci-Fi Channel or something. It was sort of like a Fear Factor X, like, Just for Laughs crossover.
Just for laughs crossover.
The fuck is that?
I cannot picture that in my mind right now.
I don't even know
Rob,
what...
are you familiar with Just for Laughs?
The Just for Laughs gags thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that.
I do not know what that is.
This Canadian sort of well-meaning prank show, hidden camera prank show, and they showed on like United Airlines for some reason.
It's got a bit of a Impractical Jokers.
Is this
vibe
like
to
on
it.
YouTube? I think I've seen a couple.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
these.
yeah.
You probably have. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Moving on from that. Let's talk about the two episodes we've
Let's talk about Prank Encounters.
So, like, let's go. I'll go over what the first prank was, and the
Yeah.
so each episode is one prank. So this is 20 minutes of this one prank.
Oh yeah.
So the first prank is set up in this house where the overall idea is that there's going to be a teddy bear that's going to freak people out because it's going to start like moving around and like murdering people.
Some kind of haunted,
Some
living
sort of
teddy
haunted
bear.
teddy bear.
The episode is called Teddy Scare.
Thank you, Noah. So they have a babysitter come in, and there's like there's a maid, there's a mom. She comes in, explains the scenario, and then there's a guy that's supposed to come in and collect toys for some charity. I don't remember what the name of the charity was, but we believe it was fake.
It was definitely fake.
So I have the internet corner
Well,
on this.
we'll get to that. We'll get to this.
Okay. The
We got to talk about the scenario first.
Yeah. So he's coming in trying to pick up this teddy bear. And the scenario is that there's like a daughter that they're babysitting, and her sister died. It's nebulous time frame.
It's a pretty dark scenario.
And
She died in the past year.
okay, in the past year,
yeah.
and the daughter thinks this teddy bear killed her sister, which, you know, that's the elaborate
That's the
setup
setup.
for this whole thing, is that they're getting closer and closer to like this teddy bear like freaking everyone out, and eventually freaks everyone out, pushes the nurse off a balcony, maid off the balcony, and like everyone just freaks out, and then Gaten,
Yeah.
Gaten,
from
a.k.a. Dustin.
Stranger
Matarazzo.
Things comes out and says, "Ha ha, that was a prank," and
And
everyone
scene.
and everyone laughs and goes home.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
So the second episode we watched was a Sasquatch horror
Yes.
movie. So it's like they like get these. So they have one person from the insurance company gets like a temp worker to go with her out to like the middle of nowhere. And then they have a new person on the highway,
Highway Patrol.
highway, whatever, like in the middle of nowhere, come to inspect suspicious crashes on some sort of stretch of road.
Dead Man's Curve, you might say.
Some may say that.
Some may say, and it all leads to like this Sasquatch person coming out of the woods and like
Attacking.
freaking them all out,
Yeah.
and like breaking a car window and pulling somebody out through the car window.
Yeah.
And then Gaten comes out and says, "Ha ha, prank.
Actually, he says, wait, guys, I know what's going on. It's a prank, haha.
You're on my new Netflix reality TV show.
Prank
Netflix.
encounters.
Netflix is Netflix. Okay, Netflix. As opposed to
Call back to our Caligula pod where it was like Amazon Prime.
Man, that's such a better prank show.
I do wish he'd just like, you're on my TV show on Netflix, and someone been like, Stranger Things?
So let's roll it back to the minutia of the first
Oh, there's so
episode.
much minutia we got to
First
dig into.
episode minutia.
Yeah, so the people that are not aware what's happening, so the non-actors.
There's 2 non-aware people in every prank. That's part of the pitch, and
Yeah.
they do not know each other before this happens.
yeah.
They say this like 30 times.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
It is unclear why they need to emphasize that so much.
I think they feel it adds the authenticity.
But they really stress it.
They overdo it, but that's the only thing I can think of is they're like, this is so real. No, these 2 people they never met before.
Never.
Wow.
Max,
Hey,
Never.
as the prank show aficionado here, has this been done before? Have they done double pranks?
that I don't actually know.
So that
might
could be the
novel.
new thing.
I am not an aficionado.
I know. You pretended to be an aficionado.
When did
before.
I pretend to?
Earlier in this episode, we were like, has the horror piece been done before? And you're
Yeah,
like,
it was called Scare Tactics. It was on Sci-Fi. Look it up. Learn the lore.
Yeah, well, that made you an aficionado.
There you go.
Yeah. So we've got Theodora,
Yep.
which is supposed to be the babysitter.
How much babysitting does she do in this episode?
Like none.
Very little.
Like they feel like there's like a good 10-minute talk with the mom about this charity thing and nothing to do with the daughter Opal,
Yeah.
which is a weird name.
I
And
mean, that's of all the weird things going on. I don't think the name is where I'd be like, that's where it got weird.
Yeah.
then we've got Vertiz
Vertiz
or VJ.
good old
VJ.
VJ.
Shout out to VJ. He gets
watched-
pranked.
We watched with a show with a guy named VJ.
And Xavier is the name of the teddy bear.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like they come into this scenario and it just kind of like lingers for so long.
The amount of setup to the amount of payoff is out of whack on the show.
Way
It's-
wrong.
Yeah. It's like they're just in this. So the babysitter's in this house for like 10, 12 minutes before like even like the other guy comes into this episode. Like it's nuts.
No, that's just even like the edited time.
No,
Like,
I'm talking about what we
Yeah.
saw.
I think she's probably in the house for quite a bit
Oh,
of
yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
the
all-
mom explains this complicated fucking scenario, leaves, then has time for this complicated scenario to kind of pay itself off. It's not like the guy showed up immediately as the mom left.
Yeah. So there were they spent so much time on the setup, and yet there were so many things with the setup that were kind of weird. Number one, so there's the maid there, and then we asked the question, why do they need a babysitter? The maid is there. And it's never got explained because the mom left. The maid was there the whole time. And trying to walk Theodora through the whole thing, it's just like it felt like they were making things overly elaborate to the point of not making sense and for
Yeah.
no purpose.
It was some fake ass shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And like the whole thing was the guy, Vertiz, goes up, gets the teddy, like Opal's like, you can't take the teddy bear.
Right.
And they're like, no, we're going to take the teddy bear. And Vertiz takes the teddy bear, puts it in a bag, puts it in a box, walks away, gets some other shit, then comes back and the teddy bear's gone. Supposedly gone.
I wish they'd shown the behind the scenes of them taking the teddy bear away. I think that would have been a nice little cutaway showing what happened.
Maybe.
They don't know,
Maybe.
but we know.
That doesn't.
Yeah, I
Sort
actually
of a, sort of a one cut of the dead situation.
Something like that.
I gotta say, I don't think it's too absurd to have a babysitter and a maid, right? The maid's responsible for cleaning the house, keeping the house in order.
In the context of all the other things that felt off about the setup,
I can see how that could be like a thing. I think the more absurd thing, the maid was dressed like a caricature of a
Like
maid.
a sexy French maid in blue.
Right. It is absurd. Like
Yeah.
a super short skirt. Like it was very much the Halloween version
Yeah.
of a maid. Whereas most like people that may have a job as like a maid, they actually just wear clothes.
Sure.
Like they dress like normal people.
This is part of the like how the family says you have to dress like this stupid maid. Like it's the only reason you ever would have to dress like that, and
Right.
like somebody asked you to do it. No one actually dresses like this.
no. I think that would have threw me off. If I ever walked into somewhere, I'm like,
Yeah.
Are-
What the
eh,
fuck's going on?
Are you celebrating something?
And like as we're watching this, we're like, where are the cameras? These are like high def, like 4K HDR cameras,
And they're being moved by a human.
And they're zooming
like,
in and out. Yeah.
most places. There's a couple locations where like, oh yeah, that's a shitty camera. But most locations are like in the house, following these people pretty closely, and they like look great. I
did
feel like I'm
explain it.
there.
No, they did explain like they're using the mirrors in the house,
Yeah.
and especially comparing the shots from episode 1 and 2, where 2 had no like set location, like a house. The video footage was a lot shittier in 2 compared to 1.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't necessarily saying it was a negative thing, but we're like,
Yeah,
as we were
yeah.
watching, we're like, where the hell are these cameras?
Right, for sure.
Like most of these shows is like, I honestly do think that these two people were pranked.
Yeah,
I do.
they were.
But I mean, that's always a question.
What a
when
waste
you're
of my
watching
time,
these-
though.
Yeah,
It's always a question when you're watching these kind of shows, like how real is it?
that's fair.
And I think legitimately these two people are pranked.
Yeah. So one thing I want to make sure we cover on. So VJ is helping out this charity. The charity is called the Pick Me Ups,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
where they pick up the idea is they pick up toys that other people want to donate. So great concept. And we had a question: is that a real charity? The answer is not as straightforward as you might think.
Oh man,
So, the charity they claim to represent is not real.
shocker.
There is no Pick Me Up charity. That said, I think they could have done a little more due diligence on what they were doing. There is the Pick Me Up Foundation, which is actually based off a young boy who died. And it donates musical instruments and related equipment to children.
By a teddy bear?
No, it's musical instrument charity. Like that said, it's like I think it's just a little in poor taste to have like such a close connection with someone who actually died. If I was a producer of that show, I would have made sure someone did their fact check and be like, okay, just choose a different name.
Okay.
I mean, I think they should have chosen a real charity, but I don't know if a real charity wanted to be associated with Netflix.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, Noah's going to like, it's similar to the name of Real Charity. I'm like, yes, that makes sense to me. It would make it sound similar, but not the same. But then for the reasons you said, it's like, I don't know if
but
they
it's
actually did
pretty
that.
close to the real name. You
Yeah.
could see like a lawsuit coming out of that
Yeah.
if they actually gave it like cared.
There's one more thing I want to mention about this charity. So the setup is you have sort of the real guy in a van with an actor who's driving, and the actor's like, "Hey, tell me what's on this list." And he's like, "A teddy bear, some dolls." He's like, "What's that address again?" 100 Valley Lane. That's a fake ass address. That's like One Oak Drive.
It could have been fake, or it could have been like 123 fake drive.
100 Valley Lane? Come on. And then here's the thing. Then the actor is like, "Oh, I think I heard about that on the news. There was a spooky accident." The news never says, "Hey, this terrible thing happened at 100 Valley Lane." They say it happened in Riverside, California or something. Like,
Exactly.
Funny, deep minutia on One Oak.
hit me.
One Oak was actually the name, maybe
Oh.
still a club in New York.
I know
And
this,
and
yeah.
it stands for one of a kind.
Yep.
One Oak, if you ever want to throw that into something.
Okay.
Thank you, Noah.
Thanks,
deep,
Noah.
deep minutia.
Yeah, yeah.
So as this prank unfurls itself,
Yeah.
they're like there's a point where the Opal and what's her name, Theodora,
Theodora.
are sitting on this couch, and they're like talking to the maid. The maid wants this bear fucking out of this house, and like puts the bear in timeout and throws the bear onto the ground. And the bear's wearing some sort of like weird bandana thing.
Yeah, the mom covered up the bear's eyes.
With like a Crips bandana.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was a Bloods.
But the reason she did it is the mom said to the babysitter, "Look, my daughter Opal is using the bear to like help her act out and communicate." So the mom is explaining, like, instead of Opal saying I'm mad, it's Xavier's mad, right? Xavier did this, and so the mom is using the bear to be like, okay, you're in timeout. She puts over the bandana, which makes sense, right? Like that is believable.
Sure, I don't know. I guess. I mean,
It's a common technique.
definitely helps setting up this whole like part of this very complicated setup. This is one of the complicated bits that I completely forgot about. It's so complicated.
Yeah, I'm not as like bought in that it was too complicated, right? It's like it's real life. Shit happens, right? Like
I think part of it is that they're trying to set up this horror scenario,
yeah.
and it takes
Forever.
15 minutes. And like lots of things could have gone wrong, and you need a lot of actors. You need this big, huge house, and you need these people to just be idiots to like kind of get into it. And then the payoff is like, okay, so the bear disappears, and like Opal and Theodora are sitting in this room, and like Theodora sees like one of the white bears start moving, and then like the maid goes out into this balcony, and the other bear, Xavier, comes in and pushes her off the balcony, and like that's the big payoff.
To be fair, we didn't see Xavier push the maid off. We saw Xavier push the other guy off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
The
happened
maid
off-screen.
just off screen was suddenly at the foot of the balcony.
Mm-hmm.
And was there a point where we're supposed to think Theodora thinks Opal pushed the maid off the balcony? Is that
I think so.
right.
I don't know. Like,
because Opal was definitely asking someone to call the police.
Yeah.
Or no, Theodora was asking someone to call the
yeah.
police. And I wasn't sure exactly what she thought was going on.
Right.
Theodora through this whole episode is just like so stone faced,
Yeah.
and I can't tell why. I didn't know if she had like so much Botox that like it was just like
Theodora?
Oh yeah. And then at one point, like Theodora's in charge. They want to put Theodora and VJ working together. So Theodora is the one going through the list of toys with VJ. It's like she just got there. Why is she in charge
Yeah.
of this?
Yeah.
This
especially
makes no
like
sense.
I understand having Theodora to come in to babysit. Makes sense. Watch the kid, play with the kid, whatever. But why is she in charge of this charity thing when you have a maid?
Yeah,
The
that makes no
maid
sense.
is the one that's in charge of the house.
Agree.
Yeah, and it's clearly like it's not a like where someone has someone come and just like clean their house for a couple hours once a week. Like this is the maid who's there every day. Is a good friend.
Like
and
she's still there.
the way her and the mom talk, and it's the evening, and she's like, "This is like a maid who's there all the time." Like,
Yeah.
It's very weird. No, this whole setup doesn't really work at all.
The maid's also kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Like, yeah, she's dead. We're getting rid of her toys or some shit.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah. Nothing about this setup makes sense.
In terms of things going off the rails, there's definitely a point where VJ, before we actually see the bears running around, like VJ starts to run away,
That's actually a pretty good part of the
And
show.
then they have to like the
and
one
then
has
the
to
guy
pull-
has to go from like trying to move the setup along to be like, VJ, come back, we got this, man.
Yeah, that's one of the times where you can see the camera outside's like kind of shitty.
yeah.
Because the inside cameras are pretty nice. Like all about this just doesn't really work. I can't believe this is episode 1. I really can't.
It's really awful.
This like horror setup, this horror like subgenre of evil dolls
Sucks.
is just awful. It's bad. No one cares. No one believes it.
Yeah.
Like make it like leprechauns would make way more sense to me than like evil dolls coming back. Like it just doesn't work.
Yeah, quick like poll of the room. Does anybody get scared by dolls? Like, this just doesn't ring scary to me.
So this is actually funny. Was talking about this yesterday.
Oh,
If you search creepy dolls on the internet,
are we talking about haunted dolls that you can find on eBay?
yeah, just search
Oh,
creepy
yeah.
dolls. There's some real creepy dolls out there. I don't know if it'll give you someone personally nightmares, but they are creepy enough where you ain't gonna want that in your apartment.
No,
your house.
I listened to a podcast where they find creepy dolls on eBay and read their descriptions and laugh at them.
Oh,
They're
that's
great.
amazing. That's a great idea.
Is that our?
I don't want to steal this other podcast's idea.
No.
No, I'm just saying it's a great idea.
To be clear, I've actually never seen Child's Play, so like I can't say because I've never seen the most famous one. But like this setup just like doesn't work. at
Scary
all.
children don't really work for me unless like it's seriously scary shit.
Have you guys ever seen Children of the Corn?
No.
You ever see Children of Men? Good movie.
So is this when you're watching this show? Is this show supposed to be scary or funny? What are they going for?
It seems like the tone they're going for is scary.
And they're not succeeding, and they're not succeeding at being funny either. So
Well, yeah.
whatever they're going for fucking sucks.
This is my premise was prank shows are supposed to be funny,
Yeah.
but they're really investing in trying to make a horror kind of thing. And it's like I think they're part of the problem with this show is that it's sort of horror show and sort of a funny show and actually neither.
I feel like they went into this thing thinking that they'd make something funny. They didn't come up with something funny, so now all the production has to make it look scary.
I don't know. Like, and then one thing we haven't talked about that we got to talk about is the control room with our old pal Gaten.
Gaten.
Oh man,
And
this is like 0% real.
It's 0% real, but I like the investment in the bit of
Yeah.
there's a producer calling the shots. Now, it's not a producer if they make it seem like Gaten is calling the shots, which is definitely not the case. But
That's true. That's true. That's
there's a
fair.
control room and there's a guy saying, "Oh, we got to move this," and like they make it seem like he's actually whispering like commands to them, like
Yeah.
in Practical
Directing them.
Jokers kind of thing. Like,
he is viewing what they did and then saying like, "Oh, you should go into that room."
yeah, exactly,
For sure.
They
But-
definitely filmed all the control room stuff
Way
3 months
after.
later. When everything was in the can.
Also, they pretend that the control room is an RV.
Yes, which is also a nice commitment to the bit.
Like I do agree with you. I kind of like this setup where you actually like they have the producers are obviously talking to the actors and watching the footage.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not Gaten, but Gaten's there. He's like on the set. He comes out.
That is true.
So it's like it's not like they couldn't just have him while the shit's going on, like actually watching and commenting.
Oh shit! Somebody needs to check if he's wearing the same clothes during the bit and during the reveal.
I think he's wearing the same clothes in both episodes we watched.
You know,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think you're
fairly
right.
certain he
I
is
think
too.
he's just got his uniform for the prank encounters.
Or he's recording all of the bits on the same day.
should we get into that?
They're definitely both at night, so that would be difficult.
I mean, one's at 8 p.m. and one's at 10 p.m.
No,
Turn it
I
around.
just mean all of the RV pretend stuff.
all the RV. I'm sure he did
You can
all.
knock it all out.
He
in a
knocked
day.
all the RV
Yeah.
pretend stuff out at one time for sure.
That's why he has to wear only one costume.
Well, it
Exactly.
depends on how good of an actor this kid is.
So
I
one-
mean,
one-
by the standard of all the kids in Stranger Things, he's pretty good.
I will say, of the actors on this show, I think Opal may have been the best actress.
Opal was killing it.
Yeah, I was like, I can't believe we have a kid actor in this prank show, and I was like, I can't believe she didn't ruin the whole bit.
Fucking the mom actress is so clearly an actress.
I thought she was good too.
I didn't really notice too much about. She was definitely not great in the second bit. In the first bit, I didn't really notice.
She was a fake ass bitch.
One last thing in the control room is there's a point where a Gaten goes, "Oh, things are getting out of hand. It's time for me to go."
Yeah, I was
Gotta
gonna
go and enter.
bring that up, and so like that happened in the second bit. So the second bit I like way more than the first.
Wait,
episode.
I got one more minutia for the first bit.
Oh man, you just ruined my segue.
Because I didn't want to segue. I had to hold the segue. You can't segue.
Okay,
and go
okay.
back.
Chris, Razor Scooter us out of here, baby.
No, I gotta get this minutia, and this is important.
No,
Okay.
go.
So Theodora is working for a babysitter like placement service,
Sure.
right? So she got placed at this house, and that's why she's there. She says she doesn't know where she is. There's an unsolved mystery on how did Theodora get to the house without knowing where she is.
That's a great. I forgot about that. That's true. She says when she wants someone to call the cops. She says she doesn't know where she is. It's like, how'd you get to this house?
She doesn't have her phone, so she could have like Ubered there with the address on her phone. She doesn't have it.
Yeah, wait, also, why do both of these people not have their phones?
Great
The
question.
teddy bear stole them.
I assume she just left her phone in the other room.
That's what I thought too.
Nobody leaves their phone in a room. You leave it in your pocket.
Well, when you're scared by a teddy bear,
Have you met Emmy?
Yeah,
Who
like-
dat?
Someone who leaves their phone in other rooms
Okay.
constantly.
the babysitter service could have dropped her off.
That's not how babysitter services work.
Right.
I agree with you, but that's an option.
But like, this just seems so.
So does the
crazy to me.
babysitter service run a van that like drops like 6 different babysitters off all around?
Rob,
the,
you're not talking about a babysitter service. You're talking about a babysitter service.
I didn't get it.
I'm implying that they're hookers.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the
All right,
van is their
all right.
job.
We're gonna move on to the better episode, the Sasquatch setup episode.
Sasquatch.
Subjectively better.
Objectively better.
I thought it was better.
I actually like the first one better.
Well, 3 to
Oh,
1.
man.
Yeah.
So it's better.
Clearly.
So this is a weird setup. Like, has anyone seen a movie with a haunted, like, on a deserted road and like Sasquatch comes out?
Yeah. Moana.
That was I'm glad you tried to stall there for a terrible punchline.
I think that was part of the plot of Signs, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking more the village, where like the village is haunted or something, but it's
in
not.
in Moana.
No,
But then there's Sasquatch.
no. What's the movie that's by M Night?
The Village.
Both
Village.
Signs in the Village
Yeah.
are M. Night.
Yeah.
This is an M. Night show. M. Night should have hosted this one. Anyway, the setups for these people are a little nuts. Like, what kind of temp job are you working for? The state patrol or whatever,
Highway Safety
highway
Board.
safety patrol. You're just out in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night
Investigating a
investigating
crime scene.
crashes, and they're talking about like there's blood on this thing. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, so we had Sade working for the Highway Safety Board,
Oh yeah,
and then we had Bruna,
Bruna. Yeah,
right? Bruna working for Fremont Insurance.
Yeah. I always find like the whole thing of like, hey, you're a temp worker for an insurance company. Okay, let's drive out with me to the middle of nowhere. like,
Yeah.
It's like,
Both
I
of
don't
these
think that's
setups
what happens.
Don't make any sense.
It makes no sense.
So they have, Sade out there first, looking at just like car parts that they've like bloodied up. And at some point, Sade comes up and like looks at this like hub, and she's like, "That looks like human blood. That looks like human hair." Because she's a professional waxer.
Yeah, she's a
so like she like sees a lot of human hair. She's like, I don't know if she sees a lot of other like animals' hair. So who knows? Like,
How does a professional waxer end up working for the highway patrol?
She's trying to make a buck.
good point. Good point. I don't know, but they probably pay more than getting a wax done.
Though I did enjoy before they went out and looked at the car parts, they showed photos
Oh,
and a
yeah.
video, and the video clearly has a Sasquatch
Yeah.
coming out and
Like-
attacking the car.
Very clearly, there are only 5 frames in this video, and 2 of them clearly show a Sasquatch.
And
Yeah.
the actor who's like giving Sade the video to watch, he's like, "What? I didn't,
I didn't
see that."
He's like pretending that it's like haunted because he's pretending like he can't see it. It's weird.
if you want to picture this guy, he's probably going to be our photo for this, right?
I mean, Gaten might be the photo.
Gaten might be
Gaten's
the
gotta
photo.
be, yeah. This
This
guy's
guy-
got a mushroom head.
He's got a mushroom head, and you know what? I think he makes it really pop.
Oh, he's doing great.
Yeah, the most nuts thing we saw was this guy and his hair. I was just
Oh,
like,
for sure. The best part was Chris at first didn't see him and thought we were talking about Sade's hair, and then all of a sudden was like, "Whoa, look at his hair!"
yeah, I definitely had to take a second look at that one.
I do gotta
was
say,
great.
Sade in both episodes is my favorite character. If you can call
Sade
her.
was the best of the four randos.
She was amazing.
She sort of instantly buys into, oh, it's a curse. We're on cursed land. And she just rolls with it.
She sees Sasquatch. She's just like, "Oh, this is what it is."
But she's also like, this seems like a TV show. Like she nails it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
does,
She
she
was
does.
on it.
Unsolved miseries.
I was at first I wasn't sure this one was going, and then when they had the Sasquatch and thing, I was like, "Oh, all right, okay,
Yeah.
I see where this is going."
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and they're just out on this like street corner, and they've like blocked off the road, and it's just like she's picking up random. They're picking up random stuff off this crime scene. They're like, "Is there blood on this? That looks like blood. Oh, we should probably get another piece of thing that has blood on it."
Yeah.
Is just crazy.
This one did a little bit better job, in my opinion, of making the setup somewhat interesting while they were going. I don't know if that was just Sade being sort of an interesting person on her own, but I think it was like there was more to do waiting for the payoff to start happening.
Yeah, well, the insurance story wasn't that great.
But they
That
still
sucked.
made the insurance person like have encounters
That's
on the
true.
drive
That's
to
true.
the thing. Unlike him just unlike VJ just saying an address, they'd be like, "Oh, that address," and then
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a 1 minute scene. Like that wasn't great.
I mean,
Yep.
so the show and other shows like this definitely rely on the marks being interesting
yeah,
because they're the point of the show. So when the marks just are like nothing burgers, like VJ and Bruna,
Bruna, you got it.
Bruna is like she's like such a nothing burger. Like she's not interesting in any aspect of any way in like this episode. I don't know if like in real life she could be fun. I don't know, but really need to pull that kind of out of people, and the show did not.
Yeah.
I think I was thinking about like why was Pranked so good comparatively? Punked. Shit.
Oh,
Pranked.
Ooh, boy.
I would have made the same mistake.
I mean, there
Oh,
might be a
boy.
show called Pranked.
Yeah, no. But like it's because the actors, right, that they're pranking, they obviously are real personalities, for the most part to themselves, and it makes the bit a lot more fun.
I have a confession. I've never really watched Punked, so
Me neither.
I would
can't
say
really-
I've seen 3 episodes, maybe.
so I can't really say anything about Punked.
All right, Punked. I mean, obviously this is like early 2000s, but it was quite good. Much better than this, and they spent a lot more. So like the bits they would put on, they like literally destroy a car, right? They'd buy a replica,
Yeah, yeah,
destroy it, and they'd be like, "Are you kidding me?" You know.
Well,
I
maybe,
mean, they destroyed a car in this one.
maybe we'll get to that. Back to this show. So as the insurance people are coming up, they have just some guy like come up next to the car.
And say, bang on the door and say, help.
Help.
I lost my friend wearing a mustard yellow vest. Who specifies that it's a mustard yellow vest? It's a yellow vest.
An actor.
If you lost your friends, they're not wearing a mustard yellow vest. They're wearing a vest. Maybe it's yellow.
Yeah.
Thanks,
No,
Max.
that's right.
And then for
Fake
some
ass
reason,
shit.
that guy like runs away. That's like one of the most unusual things. Like, hey, can I get in your car? Can you drive me around, look for him? I don't know. It just like he's just gonna run in the woods
Yeah.
looking for his friend. Like, does he have a flashlight? I didn't see that guy with a flat. Like, what?
He
like,
definitely
what is,
didn't have a
what is he gonna do?
Die.
And then as they get closer, they like eventually have some like the Sasquatch run in the back of the car, and then like run away.
That was definitely one where like they did something where the car got bumped and they had a shot outside of the Sasquatch room to the car, and that was definitely not. They recreated that shot without the mark in the car for sure.
I agree with you, but I didn't really notice at the time that like I also didn't really care if that was done. specifically for that or not, but I think it worked well. Then like they get to the site and they're finally together. The two marks are together, and
They barely interact, honestly.
Yeah.
they have this. This is when Gaten like, oh, I gotta leave the RV because it's time for me to be out there.
When he leaves the RV is the best shot. He's so happy.
So like, Gaten's in the passenger seat, and there's like one of the other actors is in the driver's seat.
Because they have another car show up. Some rando lost car.
Yeah, it's a lost car. Goes past the site, and then at some point you just hear this giant crash.
Yeah,
Like,
how'd they make that sounds, do you think? Like on a speaker?
Definitely a speaker.
I don't
fucking
know.
dumb.
For us, it's pretty obvious. It was like, oh, they just have like car crash sound. But out there, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the middle of the woods and you hear a car crash down through a speaker, I don't think you're gonna be like, that sounds like coming through a speaker. I think you're like, what? What was that?
Yeah. I doubt the sound they heard in the woods is a sound that we heard on the show.
There's also that.
Yeah, I agree on that 100%. Anyway, then they like turn around the corner and like Gaten's just lost. He's not in the car at all. There's a giant dent in the car.
Yeah.
The car's a different car. And there's the actors in
Well,
there.
no, it's not easy to tell it's a different. It looks like the same car.
I believe it was the same model of car.
It looked very similar.
It's the same model of car, but like Chris is saying, is like they didn't in 2 minutes damage
No,
out that
no,
car.
certainly
they
not.
did the
They
old
rolled this out.
switcheroo
Yeah.
and pulled out the car that was pre-damaged. But it's this. It's supposed to be the same car.
Correct.
Right, which you astutely pointed out, which makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
and
the-
then do they both get in that car or do they get in a different car?
no, so Highway Patrol had their van conveniently parked right where the accident with this car happened. And so
Convenient.
they're like, let's all get in the Highway Patrol van and drive away. But then the Highway Patrol van won't start.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Because someone left the overhead light on.
That was the only good detail, I thought.
Who left the light on?
But wouldn't the lights be off too if you can't start the car?
No, there's sort of a in-between zone.
There's speaking from experience, you
Yeah.
can have, it's kind of dim and not as bright as it should be. But so there's enough power to still have the light on, but there's not enough power to start the car.
Yep.
Well, thank you for the minutia there, guys. And then they have the Sasquatch come out and harass them in this car.
Just kind of like pushing against it at first, and Bruna's still like not really believing it. And then the Sasquatch fucking punches through the window, which I was surprised about.
Yeah, that was a nice touch of like that they had
Yeah.
a breakaway window, so the Sasquatch actually punched the window.
And that's when Bruna goes from like, this seems weird to like, oh shit, it's real.
Yeah, Bruna had some great facial expressions right at the end here. That's
Yeah.
their one like nothing burger is like sure her eyes bugging out, freak out face is pretty good.
Yeah.
Also had a great moment from Sade right before that where she's like, "Can I sit in the middle? I don't want to sit by the window."
She said that like 10 times and
Yeah.
she's still not.
And that
in
was
the middle.
before they broke the glass. They didn't even know that was going to be a thing.
Yeah. And then at some point, like, Gaten comes out in front of the car, in front of the like headlights. And he's like, I know what's going on. But meanwhile, Bruna says, is that the guy from Stranger Things?
Yeah, that was great.
And he's like, this is a prank show on Netflix. It's Netflix, guys. Netflix. It's Netflix. Calm down. It's Netflix.
Netflix.
And like it's like Sade still seemed kind of confused, and Bruno's me like, ha ha, this is the most hilarious thing ever. Like she was immediately all in on I got pranked. This is hilarious. Like, which I don't know.
So, like, I don't want to immediately into this, but like, aren't pranks supposed to be fun? Like, this is not fun in the slightest.
This is a waste of my fucking time.
Well, fun for us or fun for the people getting pranked?
Yeah.
I think it needs to be fun almost like afterwards to be like, oh, that was fun. What part of this was fun?
Isn't
Like, it's not
entertainment
even-
supposed to be entertaining?
It's definitely not entertaining for us. That's the problem.
No, but like the targets usually don't have fun in the prank. Like it usually takes them a good time to like settle down, get out of being the target, and then appreciate the prank. We're not going to capture that on the show.
I don't know. I just don't think that even if I was like involved in this prank at all, it's not funny. It's not fun.
But like back to Punked, the most famous Punked episode is when they were like repossessing Justin Timberlake's house. Like, I don't think it was fun when he thought like
Right.
people were
No,
taking
that's-
stuff out of his house.
That's very funny for
No.
us, though.
But Chris's point is it should be fun for the person being pranked, and it's like that's not
Well,
fun.
I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
definitely
I'm
not.
just trying to figure out and get in the headspace.
Yeah, so I think the thing with pranks is it's not necessarily fun in the moment as long as you can look back and like you're not like oh, I pranked you, I just stabbed you in the arm. It's like, well, my arm's still bleeding. Like, but if it's like, oh, you look back, like, oh, okay, that was fun. There was no harm done. So I don't think it's supposed to be fun for the person in the moment as long as you can look back and think it's fun. But if it's an entertainment show for us, it should be fun for us. And outside of a couple brief moments, this is not very much fun.
That's
Yeah.
what I think this is supposed to be more like a horror show. I don't think it's supposed to be like funny.
Doesn't like. I think they just failed what they're trying to do because a prank show should be funny and it's not funny enough.
I think building on what you say, like, because even you think of like phone pranks, which is like a big like local radio thing, right?
Pseudo, sure.
Did you guys know Crank Anchors is coming back?
Oh, it is back.
It's already back. We
I
talked about
talked about it last week.
Okay, I was not here.
Yeah, great show. But the reason when pranks like are not just mean, it's when the person delivering the prank or responsible for it really has a strong relationship with that person, and then the target realizes they're being pranked because that person like cares about them so much, right? They're thinking about them so much, and then there's like some redemption for the target. It's like, oh, you chose me. That's pretty thoughtful.
Would this show have been better if at some point Gaten comes out and they're like, "Are you the kid from Stranger Things?" And he says, "I get that a lot."
Yes. No,
This
you
reminds me of
wouldn't
that
be
show a
able
lot.
to both look like that kid and also sound like that kid. Like somebody would pick up on it.
What if said,
What
"Hey,
if
are you
it's
Guy Fieri?"
Fieri.
Boom.
There's one piece of minutia I think we missed over that when they start off the scenes, they have these very intense Terminator graphics, so you know
Oh, yeah.
who is
Oh, yeah.
real and who are actors, and it is just so.
I felt like I
nuts.
was in Predator for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Actor. With this like giant, like complicated graphic over their face. You're just like, okay.
They spent the whole budget of the show on
They
those
definitely
graphics.
did.
It's I don't know. Part of me wants to like prank shows, and part of me just is just like, this is mean.
Yeah,
It's very mean.
I mean, generally, I can understand like what's fun about them, but this show is just like I don't understand what's fun about scaring the shit out of people. Like, there's definitely a level of like emotion that I think needs to be done in a prank, and this went way past it.
well, let's say like so you do enjoy Impractical Jokers, which is a version of this.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm just trying to figure out like where's my like I like Jackass too, and it's like what level? Where's my like line here? Because this was just not fun, not funny. But and I don't know if that's just because this like show is so bad.
Chris, you're looking inwards to figure out why the show is bad when you should be looking outwards. This show is
I
bad because the
agree.
show is bad.
Yeah, I think Max in the head. It seems like you don't mind if a show being mean. Because the Practical Jokers is super mean. You just want the entertainment value to be better.
Well, the thing with Impractical Jokers is usually mean to the people producing the show, and not necessarily mean to the people, the like marks, quote unquote, on the show. Like occasionally, sure, but not like that's not the point of the show. Whereas like the point of the show is to like scare the shit out of the marks. That's not fun. Like to me, that's not fun. That's just mean. It's a very mean-spirited show. Whereas Impractical Jokers is like, hey, go out and make a fool of yourself. That's fun to me.
But they also make the people, though, like in a pretty uneasy situation.
There's definitely, yeah, but that's not the point of the show. The
Is
point of the
it?
show is to make the guys on the show get them to do weird things.
Yeah, get them doing like interesting things.
That
Reacting in a way you don't see humans normally react because they're not usually in this situation.
I'll take your word because you've watched at least 100x the amount of Impractical Jokers that I have.
I don't know if there's
I will
100
trust you.
Probably. I think there's 100 episodes. How many episodes have you seen?
I don't know, but also the frequency you watch them is probably a lot more.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So, do we have any other minutia for the show? Like,
Here's some minutia. We need to get to ratings.
all right, Max. I think I have an idea what your rating is. Give it to me.
After episode 1, this was a clear bottom of the bottom. After episode 2, I actually had to recalibrate and call this definitely a bottom of the bottom.
Good recalibration, Max. Rob, what do you got?
This is easy bottom third. The second episode was definitely better than the first, but it was not good.
All right, Noah, what do you got?
I'm putting it in the bottom, but top of the bottom. I like this, I think, a little bit more than the rest of the crew did. The reason being, I find the actors actually be pretty good, especially Opal in the first episode.
Shout out to Opal.
Yeah, Opal killed it. And so I think there's some opportunity. I think they need a lot to improve the show, but yeah, it's going in the trash can. Put it on the bottom.
It's pretty fucked up when your two best actors are both children actors.
I'm gonna put this in the bottom, but I agree with Noah. I liked it more than like I thought I was like after talking about it, but it's just mean spirited. I just want to be watch a horror thing instead of watching this like half horror, half like torture two people for no reason kind of show, and so that's kind of why it's in the bottom. That's why I kept trying to talk about like what about the show because I just don't. I want to like it, but it's just not. It's not there.
Is this the first show at Straight Bottom?
No.
No, in season 4. Sorry, this season.
It's the first in a while, I think.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
I can pull up the data.
Yeah.
Also, we
It's
have a
the
contribution.
first one since 3 episodes ago.
Okay. Oh, nailed it or something?
Is that Caligula?
Ghosted.
Ghosted.
Oh, I wasn't here.
And then also we have Brian's contribution at bottom third, middle of the bottom. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
We missed you. Yeah. So you been watching anything else?
Me and James and Harrison and Annabeth and Emmy watched 2 episodes of Temptation Island season 2.
And what did you think, Max?
It's even crazier than season 1.
So how many couples do we have this time?
We have
around?
4 couples.
So same as last time.
Somebody's already cheated within 2 episodes.
Ooh,
How long did it take
shocker.
last time?
Like 4 or 5 episodes.
Oh, wow.
Let me see. You're gonna go on this show that you know that you're gonna have a chance to date all these singles. Maybe it's a thing where they'd go on to actually cheat with their significant others.
There's so many easier ways. Okay.
I know, but like,
But which of those ways, Max, lets you become a social media influencer?
Oh, you could be on Catfish.
at least Catfish, you're on what episode? You're on episode you're on like 10, 12 episodes.
Temptation Island. What an insane show.
How excited was Harrison to see his pal Mark L. Wahlberg again?
Dude, Mark L. Wahlberg is doing fucking Satan's chores. He looks like somebody sucked his eye meat out from behind his eyes.
Who are these
What a
couples that are
description.
signing up for this show again? I don't
Especially
understand
after
that.
did you see what happened on season 1?
Well, what about the other 3 seasons?
Yeah, there's an engagement. It worked out
Nobody
great.
knows about the first 3 seasons. But
If I'm going on a show called Temptation Island and there's multiple seasons, I'm probably gonna at least watch a handful of them.
it's fucking nuts. Oh, sorry. I'll follow up after the pod.
All right. Still mystifies me. Listen to our review of Temptation Island. 'Cause I
Yeah.
think we've got a lot of good minutia and good thoughts on
Back in
it.
the archives.
Back in the archives.
I could give you a quick Mass Singer update. So
Ooh.
there's been no Mass Singer for 2 weeks because it was preempted by the World Series playing the baseball. But since the last update in the pod, I haven't talked about the most recent episode where the skeleton got eliminated, and I'd previously said the skeleton seemed like it was a short comedian, and it turned out to be Paul Schaefer, David Letterman's band
Yeah.
leader.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Did he sing well?
So this thing, like, he definitely seemed like he was not quite on the level of some of the other people, but like he's not
Musically
some rando athlete who's trying to sing. So I think like the quality of singers are going to be better this year. So
interesting.
It actually was like after, and so they changed the format up again. So they
Ooh.
got rid of the SmackDown after they went through the first round, and they had 6, and they're just like it actually moved pretty good. Like they just had 6 sing, and then they brought it all 6. They're like, all right, and you're kicked off, and
That's good.
and I actually was like, I think of the 6, I think the skeleton is the one who's going to go. So I was able to discern the least appealing performance.
Did you get closer guess by the end, or are you still?
So there was a clue that he was traditionally been second fiddle, and this was his chance to be in the spotlight. And I was like, oh, that makes me feel like our guesses, like we're talking like Martin Short or Dana Carvey. It's like, that doesn't really fit.
It doesn't fit those two people at all.
And then Max's favorite guessed Paul Schaefer. And as soon as she guessed Paul Schaefer, I was like, oh, Paul Schaefer, interesting. And turned out to be right. So
Yeah, that's the latest one. You always give me the cue to look back on the Wikipedia page. They do such a good job just saying who it is.
But you don't even get to guess. Are you like looking?
I don't like guessing. I just like seeing who it is. But the second fiddle thing reminds me of Nick Lachey. Remember from 98 Degrees? And so he had a brother,
Oh.
right, that he also tried to be a singer, but it was definitely not in the spotlight like Nick.
I mean, it would not shock me if Nick Lachey is on the Masked Singer.
Yeah, no, it's
What's
definitely
Nick
appropriate.
Lachey up to in 2019?
Being on the Masked Singer, maybe.
I'm sure he's doing great. Like, that is actually like the perfect spot. You made a bunch of money in like your late teens, early 20s, and then you skate on that for the rest of your life.
So there's
if
actually,
you don't spend it all.
so
Right.
this character wasn't on the last episode I saw, so probably in the next episode. There's a character called the Christmas Tree, or just the tree. And part of the clue is you only think about them once a year. So it's like, oh, this is someone who is famous for singing a Christmas song. And I was like, what if it's Elvira?
Can
So
Elvira sing though?
I need to hear the voice again now in the next episode. Like I'm definitely like, that'd be a great plot twist.
Mariah Carey.
That'd be amazing.
I mean, Mariah Carey's more famous for more than one song. Though.
Yeah.
She's definitely not on that show.
If you know a good one-hit wonder female Christmas song person, let me know. They might be on the. Masked
I
Singer.
do. It's called Tree.
Tree.
Oh, it's Grandma because she got run over by a reindeer.
Probably.
So I've been watching some HBO recently.
Ooh,
So
What you
know,
got?
HBO Sundays are getting pretty good.
the Hubbo.
Getting pretty good. It's been good.
Succession's so good.
Last week tonight with John Oliver is amazing. Like,
Right.
every time, just got to give a quick shout out to that. But 2 shows started recently. We got Silicon Valley's back.
Oh.
I did not know it was coming back, and then I saw like there was an episode. I was like, "What? There was an episode? When did that happen?"
Yeah, Silicon Valley was pretty. The new season was pretty good. Season premiere. They make fun of the whole like going to Congress and like privacy controls and stuff, which is quite apt in today's
Is this
culture.
a final season or
This is the final season, supposedly.
final season? Oh man.
So for me, that's kind of disappointing because like, what other show is like representing this whole like tech and like subculture subverting the like making fun of it? Like, I don't know.
I would be okay if they sort of brought it back whenever it was right to bring it back, like Curb.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if they would space it out more and let this storylines kind of like
But that's a very hard sort of show to make, especially with an ensemble cast.
could be better as like an anthology where you could jump from like different kinds of companies each season. Because like
yeah.
I saw like them repeating kind of like being a startup, but like not trying to be a startup. So I get it. So we'll see where the season leads, but I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
And then the next show was Watchmen started. 2 episodes of Watchmen premiered.
Was it 2?
There's 2 episodes.
How was that?
It's like pretty intense. It's definitely like not what I'd expect from like because you watch the movie. Has everyone seen the movie?
Oh,
A
yeah.
while
yeah.
ago.
That's like the only comic I actually read.
Like it's kind of colorful. It's pretty serious. It's like serious,
Colorful is one way to put all that blue.
but like
Yeah,
this
the
show,
movie was all that. Yeah, that.
yeah,
weird
the
thing.
show is like really dark and like really puts like race relations right in your face, and it's like an interesting like because it's supposed to be some sort of side like history, so there's like no internet, and it's just kind of like what are trying to gleam at what are the consequences,
Sure.
but not like throw it in your face, so you have to kind of think about it. So I don't really know where the show is going, and it's difficult for me to recommend at like that level. I think that it is well done, and I think at the end it could be really good, but after 2 episodes I still don't really have a great idea of where it's going.
You just gave me a good idea for movie night. Watchmen, putting on the poll.
I mean, if you're gonna have a movie night, why don't you watch a good movie?
Oh,
I don't remember
shade.
Watchmen being bad.
I definitely remember I was able to see Watchmen at the IMAX for $3. And I remember
$3.
I remember half an hour in thinking like, oh, this was actually a lot better than I expected. And by the end of it, I was like, I'm glad I paid $3 for this. The first like 20 minutes of Watchmen is actually pretty good, and then it really starts getting really Zack Snydery, and it does not hold.
But it
up.
was wasn't that first Zack Snyder movie?
no.
300 is like
Oh,
And then there was
Yeah.
like Axe Girl or something.
No, I think Watchmen is his third movie. I
Okay.
think he did some zombie movie, then 300, then Watchmen.
was it Day of the Dead or something, or
Yeah.
Dawn of the Dead? I think was
One of those ones.
something like that. Okay.
HBO. Oh,
Oh, I was
Okay.
also going to say HBO has Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials coming soon, which is co-produced with BBC.
Yeah.
okay.
We'll see how that goes out. Anyone else got anything they want to talk about? We could.
South Park is back on. I think always excellent. I think that is a undervalued show. People, I think, just like kind of get out of touch with it, and every time you put it on, it just delivers. So shout out to South Park.
All right. Well, you can find us on Twitter at @WhoPutTheSon. You can find us on Facebook.com/WhoPutTheSon.
.com.
.com. Please email us questions and suggestions at whoputtheson@gmail.com, and we'll see you guys next time.
Fucking young Ashton Kutcher.